All right, once you have the head done, you can start on the arms or the legs. I normally start with the arms first and then I go to the legs because I find that a lot of times the arms are a little easier for me to do. Now, if this character had really defined hands, it might be easier to go for the legs first. So I'm just going to extrude. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can see my arms in every view. And especially this front view gives us the most guidelines for it. And I can click this area in between so I can move it on the Y and the X. I go Shift, extrude down. Now I could extrude this all the way down. I could also think about where's that elbow. We were talking about how important these bends were. So I can say, okay, there about would be an elbow. I'll go ahead and move it and scale it down. And that makes the arm a little flatter, and that's probably good. If you look at your arm, it's not 100% round. And then we'll go and we'll extrude to the wrist. We'll have to add some more points and such for movement later so that they know what this should look like a little more. And that may have been helpful for us. That's always kind of what gives you the definition of the wrist. If not, you're making it up. There we go. And adding that movement kind of gets that same bend on the clavicle. If you think anytime you can match your model to bones, you're good. Same for this little armpit over here. If we want a little more of an armpit, we can do that. But we would probably need to add more points here and here to define this a little better. And we'll get to that when we refine the character model. And we will extrude out this hand. We just want to match that shape. And if we look at it and say, this doesn't look very much like a hand, we can define that more when we get to some of these ring selections. We do the same thing where I extrude this out. Scale that in a tiny bit. Actually, then I really lose a lot of definition. I'll scale it to about here. Rotate it just a tiny bit. Thinking about like if this were a real hand, where those kind of movements on the finger digits would be. And then I can extrude out. Rotate that and scale it down a little more. Now looking at that in this view, we notice, I guess it kind of looks like an arm, but not really. And that is because we want to do some edge selections and we want to modify this a little more. We want to go, okay, how about you go here, you go here. And because we didn't have that side view, we really are leaving a lot of this too. Okay, what should this look like? Now this is going to be I can also once again just do my selections and kind of play around with this shape a little. That's starting to look a little more defined. And you want to grab this and move it down. And then once I think I like how it looks, I can always hit 3 on my keyboard to see how that's translating. And it's not horrible. It's much smoother than we probably want because remember, this takes the average slope between 2 points and smooths them. So if you ever want more definition, you can always just do that ring selection. And I find around the wrist, even though you can model it with 1 point to get the movement and to get that definition, anytime there's a joint, you really want at least 3 vertices for that to keep its shape.